Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. A big thank you for taking time today to join us. I hope you're all having a productive but also a restful week. Magsisimula na po tayo soon, so relax lang muna kayo dyan.
Tama, Alisa. Ito nga pala ay yung second webinar series ng HNI following Pinay Pride last March 2023. In Pinay Pride, we discussed the importance of women empowerment and the roles of women in inclusion. Bago tayo magsimula, maglaan po tayo ng ilang sandali para sa isang panalangin at ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bow our head and put ourselves in the holiness of God the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. Dear Almighty and ever-loving God, we glorify and thank Thee your name. You have showered us with so much blessings, and your presence continuously remind us of your faithfulness and guidance. With this may we humbly ask you to shower our speakers today of your greatest inspiration, so that they may share the most of their knowledge, heart and soul to their respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge experiences and put it into practice what we may learn today. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge, that they may be able to fulfill their task responsibly, that the objectives they have set may all be achieved. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this seminar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love, through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Tayang magiliw, elasang silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyagan ang mahiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingin, sa nalatang tunog sa simoy at sa langit ang pagaw, ay hinanang tulang, sa paglayang minamahal, ang isang matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtinig. Ang ituwin at araw niya kailan pa may magtitig. Luman ang araw ng walhagin pansin ka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay ng langit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Muli, good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Ako si Alisa.
At ako naman po si Christian at kami ang mga host niyo for today's webinar. Inihandog ng Hands Inclusion ang aming second webinar for 2023, ang Gabay, an IncluTalks webinar on Autism Awareness. Our speakers today will share their life stories and lived experiences as people with autism.
Very exciting indeed, partner. And as we strive to create meaningful changes and support the autism community, this is an opportunity to listen and be an ally to those in the autism spectrum.
Amats yan, partner. Ngayon naman, magalang kong i-invitein si Roylan Marlang, founder of Hands Inclusion, para sa kanyang opening remarks. Boss Roylan, take it away.
To all speakers, to all the virtual audience in the Philippines and around the world, and to all volunteers and members of Hands in Inclusion, a pleasant day to all. Another webinar is come in this month. And saktong nagkataon na Autism Awareness din. Kasi pinagdidiwang din natin ang Autism Awareness, mga kaibigan, ngayon. So, kung magtataka kayo, bakit Autism Awareness kada April? Kasi April 2 is World Autism Day. And lahat na nga ng buong April is Autism Awareness Month. So, sa mga nagtataka, ang autism ay isang classification under intellectual disability. Na kung saan, kung may senyales yung may autism, nung pagkabata, yung tahimik ka, minsan hindi ka mapakali, minsan kung mataas yung IQ mo, nakaka-memory ka, minsan nade-delay yung speech mo, kasi yan yung sa case ko na rin, mga kaibigan. So, ngayon, ang pag-uusapan sa webinar na i-discuss ng ating mga speakers, yung pangangalaga sa may bata may autism, yung mga activities ng mga persons with autism, at yung employment today ng mga taong may autismo. So I am inviting you na manood ngayon. Marami kayong matututunan at hindi lang to puro webinar lang. Marami kayong learnings and insights na matututunan. Palakasin natin ang inclusion kung hanggat maaari. Okay? Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Roylan. At pinasasalamatan din po namin ang Philippine Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf para sa pag-provide ng mga sign language interpreters para sa ating webinars. Malaking tulong po ito para maging accessible ang ating mga webinars.
And of course, thank you po sa inyo. Shoutout din po sa iVolunteer Philippines. Sila ang nag-provide ng ating mga volunteers.
Yes, partner. So, wag na nating patagalin pa. Ating ipakilala sina Mrs. Wilma Dela Cruz-Ligot, Mrs. Josephine Palomares, at Mr. Ronald Motoomull ang ating speakers para sa araw na ito. Our speakers will help us think differently and help us advocate for our brothers and sisters in the autism community.
To our viewers po, please kindly like and share our Facebook Live para mas marami pa ang makasubaybay sa program natin today. And don't forget, don't forget, let's make some noise. Yun, sorry.
Yes, partner. Tamang-tama yan. Let's make some noise. At para sa mga Facebook Live viewers natin, pwedeng-pwede kayo mag-comment ng inyong mga katanungan o opinion. Collaborative webinar ito, guys, ha? And we would love everyone to participate in our discussion.
Correct ka dyan, Alisa. Now, let's introduce our first speaker, Ms. Wilma Dela Cruz-Ligot, to our virtual stage. Okay. Ms. Ligot, are you there?
Aside from autism, this present.
Oopsies.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. In line with Autism Awareness Month, I will be talking about parenting and autism in this presentation. So today I hope to discuss parenting based on my understanding of what autism is. Aside from autism, this presentation will also discuss some parenting styles that work around the challenges that go with autism. I am hoping that by the end of this presentation, we'll have a better appreciation of the crucial role of parents in the growth and development of autistic individuals. Just one disclaimer, the views of personal experiences shared here are my own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the organization I am affiliated with. So I will be using the identity first language in this presentation because this is what we prefer. One reason for this preference is its emphasis on the person's identity rather than the condition or diagnosis. In this language, autism is considered a fundamental aspect of who the person is, or what self-advocates call way of being. Additionally, We believe that this language can promote acceptance and understanding of neurodiversity. Finally, it helps reduce stigma and promotes a more positive and respectful view of autistic persons. It is important to note, however, that not all individuals with autism may prefer the identity first language. Some may prefer the person first language. So therefore, it is always best to ask the individuals themselves what their preference is. Either way, the most important thing is to treat individuals with respect, dignity, and kindness, regardless of the language used. Language is very important for most self-advocates. There's even a movement to reclaim the word of autistic as a way of being. If you've heard of Autism Society Philippines Isang Pangako campaign, that is one way to reclaim what being autistic means to the autism community. So let me begin this presentation with my family. Our family was blessed with 2 sons and 1 daughter. I am sharing this picture and information about them with their permission. So Miles was diagnosed at 3.5 years old, and he is minimally verbal, now on the 9th grade, mainstream, and attends an inclusive class. 6 years after Miles' diagnosis came Red's formal diagnosis. He was initially assessed at 9 years old and reflected a borderline ADHD inattentive type zone. After a comprehensive psychological evaluation in 2012, he was finally diagnosed with ASD at age 13. So Red graduated from Ateneo de Manila University with a BS in Management Information Systems degree. He is now a regular employee of a Hong Kong-based IT company as a junior analyst. Rain is our only girl and the middle child. She's a sophomore at the University of Buffalo in New York, and she's taking a bachelor's degree major in philosophy, politics, and economics. All my children spent their primary education in the Gulf School Community of Learners Foundation School for Children. So shout out to the Gulf community. That school implements an inclusive and progressive curriculum. They were instrumental in laying a strong foundation for all my children and on our autism journey. Part of our parenting roles has to do with determining the kind of education we want for our children. Having experienced the traditional type of education, my husband and I agreed to place our children in a non-traditional, progressive, and inclusive school. I could say that this is one of the best decisions we made, seeing how our children are as young adults. Our family had known about autism in 2007 when Miles was diagnosed. The prevalence rate of autism back then was 1 in 110. Now, 16 years after, the prevalence rate is at 1 in 36. So given the increase in prevalence, there's a greater need to raise awareness about it. It is interesting to note that the findings of studies on the sibling recurrence rate. This is the probability of a child having ASD with one or more siblings with ASD in the family. So the rate, according to the 2011 study, was 6.1% to 18.7%. And there's a threefold increase among males based on this 2017 study. So we were not surprised when we found out that Red is autistic himself 4 years after Miles' diagnosis. Long before Red was even assessed, I already had my suspicion. So looking back, there were red flags, but too subtle to notice as something significant. So to parents out there, be familiar with the red flags. My understanding of autism changed over time. So back in 2007, I looked at autism as a puzzle to be solved. At present, however, we see autism as a way of being. Trying to understand autism is the same as understanding any person. We should look at the totality of the person. That as a person, they have inherent rights like everyone else. Unfortunately, how society understands disability directly affects how disabled persons are valued and treated in society. The creation and development of social services for disabled persons rely on this understanding of disability. So let's check the primary models of disability and see what models we follow. There are two main models of disability that I think most of you are familiar with. The first one is the medical model or functional model. This model emphasizes medical diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation to fix or to cure the person's disability so they can conform to societal norms. The other model of disability is the social model, or also known as the human rights model. This model emphasizes the need for society to adapt and accommodate the needs of individuals with disabilities, rather than expecting them to change to fit in. The focus is on removing barriers and promoting inclusion rather than on medical treatment and rehabilitation. This model recognizes that disabilities is a natural part of human diversity and that individuals with disabilities have the same inherent rights and dignity as everyone else. It also emphasizes the importance of the full and meaningful participation of individuals with disabilities in all aspects of society, including education, employment, political, and social life. As parents, we are more inclined to lean on the social model of disability when advocating for our autistic children. Imagine if government services use this model when crafting laws and policies for our country. Through this model, advocates and self-advocates continue to push for a more inclusive, diverse, and equitable society where all individuals are valued and supported to reach their full potential, regardless of their abilities or differences. Now let's review how one is diagnosed with autism. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, version 5 or DSM-5, autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by deficits in social communication, social interaction, and restrictive, repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities. To be diagnosed with autism, one must satisfy two conditions. First, they must display symptoms in two main areas and must be present in the early developmental period. Second condition is when the condition causes significant impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning or setting. So the two main symptoms or the main areas must be observable in different settings, not only in one setting. Autism is a lifelong condition. It does not go away. In cases where the symptoms are no longer detectable, studies and testimonies attribute this to better coping skills, masking skills, or better self-regulation skills. Finally, DSM-5 recognizes that there is a wide spectrum of symptoms and levels of impairment associated with ASD, and that every individual with ASD is unique in their presentation and needs. So to illustrate this, let's understand autism as a spectrum. So try to imagine the colors of the rainbow with different hues and intensities. Autism is not a linear progression from severe to mild. It's like this wheel on the left. Terms like high functioning or low functioning are harmful and should not be used anymore. Instead, DSM-5 specifies three levels of severity based on the level of support that an individual requires. So when you see this, so when dealing with autistics, some may need high support in a certain area, but low support in other areas of functioning, sometimes even depending on the situation they are in. Autism should be viewed as a complex web of intersecting traits and characteristics that can manifest differently in different individuals and at different points in time. So to illustrate this, let's check the circle on the right. Notice how each color varies in degree, and the colors represent the different areas of functioning, and the use of each color represent the levels of support they need. The light colors represent very little support, while the dark colors mean they need a significant amount of support. So to illustrate this even more, let's take the case of Red and Miles. In the area of communication, let's say the area of communication is the one colored orange. Let's refer to the wheel on the left. The orange part is the communication area. Miles could be uh, the dark orange, in the colored orange space, while red may be in the very light colored orange in that area, of functioning. So this color orange, dark orange for Miles, can change to lighter orange when he is at home, as opposed to when he is at school. The color might be dark orange. Same goes with red. It can change depending on um, the setting where they are in. So by understanding autism this way, we are able to take into account the unique experiences and stress of each person on the spectrum. Knowing this, we get an idea of what areas we need to focus on more. They are the areas of weakness, and what areas we need to focus on less, or the areas of strength. This also shows the need for a highly individualized approach to helping autistics. Because everything is individualized like everyone else, no two autistics are the same. Some autistics are non-speaking, while others speak fluently and eloquently. So this is an example of Philip Reyes and Ido Kidar are non-speaking autistics, while Dr. Temple Grandin is a highly verbal autistic. Depending on their unique profiles, they have their own sets of IEPs, diet, etc. So as parents, we must do our part to get to know our children and see how they experience the world from their perspective. So to understand autism even more, let's try to listen to what they have to say. Their voices are worth listening to and worth learning from. I have better understanding and better view of their world through the experiences shared by self-advocates like Philip Reyes, who is a non-speaking autistic. So allow me to read what Philip has to say with his permission, and to quote, let's pretend you are like me. You can't talk, but you have a well-functioning mind and can understand people. Imagine you answer everyone who says something to you, but only you can hear it. Others hear your voice saying things you don't necessarily mean. They think that's all you are capable of thinking. People see your repetitive flapping or tapping and they think it serves no purpose. They don't understand that the minute you stop, the moment is flooded with lights that hum, loud sounds that echo, kids moving too fast for you to keep up with, and people trying to engage with you. It is hard on me to put my steaming away, but I try. So, end of quote. Philip emphasized the sensory issues they experience. Imagine being bombarded by sensory input from different directions. Then you are expected to focus on the instruction being given to you. Because of the difference in the wiring of their brain and different sensory makeup, they experience the world in a different way. So as parents, it is important to know what works for them. The texture of the food, the smell of the environment, the intensity of the light, the tone of sounds. All these we need to consider when figuring out the type of accommodation they need to be able to perform tasks with everyone else. Sensory integration techniques help in dealing with these challenges. This is crucial in developing self-regulation skills when faced with sensory issues. Self-advocates is also a good source of information if one wants to have a deeper understanding of autism. So here is a short list of what they need. Many self-advocate autistics emphasize the importance of acceptance and understanding of autism as a neurodiverse condition. They prefer to be respected and valued for who they are, rather than being seen as broken or in need of fixing. They are sensitive and they can sense if they are truly accepted. One can gauge this with the quality of engagement they develop when interacting with others. While Miles cannot talk the way Red does, by willingly working with another teacher and complying without any push from my end, I can tell he feels safe and comfortable with that particular teacher in school. I do not mind the grades. I am happier that he's able to work with others and does his part in school. Also, he does not even allow me to be beside him during his online classes. Some self-advocate autistics find it helpful to receive training in communication and social skills to improve their interactions with others. However, they prefer approaches that are respectful and that emphasize building on their strengths rather than focusing on deficits. So, others think sensory integration therapy can help. Um, Many self-advocate autistics use assistive technology to support their communication, organization, and daily living skills. They prefer technologies that are easy to use and individualized to their needs. Some non-speaking autistics resort to technology to communicate, like Philip Reyes and Ido Kedar. Red uses alarms or apps rather than charts and journals so as not to forget important schedules or to monitor his diet or weight. Self-advocate autistics value their own voice and the ability to advocate for themselves. They prefer approaches that empower them to make their own decisions and choices. So when we talk of interventions for autism based on my experience with my child, it makes a whole lot of sense to take the holistic approach. We cannot turn a blind eye to what's happening in our children's bodies. We can always just rely on the observed behaviors because the core characteristics of autism are behavioral in nature. Again, we need to look at our autistic children in their totality. So we need to consider the body, the mind, the behavior, and emotions, the way we look at any individual. Parents usually feel helpless when we talk about interventions. If we get involved and try to act as case managers for our children, the feeling is empowering since we see ourselves as part of a collaborative effort in helping our children with their challenges. In terms of intervention, parents should understand that what works for one might not work for another. Banning one intervention totally in favor of the current gold standard might do more harm to others who could possibly benefit from it. One example is the rapid prompting method, which is the method that helped non-speaking autistics like Philip and Ido to communicate and connect with the world. Another example is dietary interventions in 2007 were controversial, but at present it is now recognized as one of the best ways to help improve the quality of life of children with special needs, even neurotypicals. So just like typically developing individuals, autistics also experience certain health problems. Recognizing this health condition does not mean we look at our children as broken and that they need fixing. Acknowledging this health condition is detrimental to the improvement of the quality of life of our children. These studies were conducted to better understand the bodily function of most autistic individuals. A study by Albert Beltardi in 2021 revealed some medical comorbidities that with the condition. A separate study by Hours et al. In 2022 revealed that 50 to 70% of autistics have ADHD as a comorbid condition. Studies show that children who enjoy good health have a better chance of learning. This applies to all children, including our autistic children. Now, bombarding a child with therapies without addressing medical issues like GI issues, for example, is not helpful. Take, for example, the case of Miles. Miles was a sickly child when he was young. We frequent emergency rooms of different hospitals when he had febrile seizures. Doctors cannot seem to figure out what needs to be done. When we were in that situation, we tried to look for ways and answers for ourselves. I did my due diligence. I studied and listened to what science had to say about it. Laboratory results showed Miles is highly allergic to dairy. So back in 2007, dietary interventions are treated as a very controversial intervention. Miles performed better in school and responded better to therapies when his GI issues were addressed medically. His skin problems, sleep problems, and allergy symptoms, colds, flu, diarrhea, cleared when we changed his diet. He was also treated for yeast infection and underwent heavy metals detoxification under the guidance of a special doctor. Imagine if we did not do all those things. Um, Imagine if we will still feed Miles with milk that is uh, very harmful for him. So let us talk about what is normal. It is usual practice to think that the minority should fit in the norm because they are the majority. For those with neurodevelopmental disabilities, however, the case is different, especially when we talk about milestones. We can use milestones as a guide, but as parents, we need to realize and accept that our children are different and most likely tend to follow a different developmental track or path. If they don't meet a particular milestone, think that it is not the end of the world. When one forces the square peg to fit in a round peg, parts of it are chipped off. The square peg is no longer a true square peg. It actually becomes distorted. So this figures shows how forcing autistics to fit in can cause more harm than good. Neurodivergent reports mental health issues. Some are treated with depression and even PTSD. Worse, there are also reports of self-harm because of the things that this group of people needs to deal with almost on a daily basis. They need to be accepted for who they are and for the way they are. An ounce of kindness for a neurodivergent may mean the world to them. So parents like me pray for kindness from society as a whole for the sake of our children. Together with our children, what we envision, hope, and strive for is a society that is inclusive. It is a society where all individuals, regardless of their abilities, background, or characteristics, are valued, respected, and have equal opportunities to participate and contribute to society. Overall, an inclusive society is one where diversity is embraced and everyone is supported and included in all aspects of society. It is a society where all individuals reach their full potential, regardless of their abilities or differences. Be it neurodiverse or neurotypical, our parental involvement in the upbringing of our children varies on the stage of development they are currently in and of the values we uphold. So, as parents, our parental involvement in different aspects of our children's lives matters. We need parental involvement that observes boundaries or limits. It has to be respectful of the needs of oneself and others. It has to be proactive. Um, we observe that there are crisis situations that appears during transition stages. So because of this understanding, we anticipate uh, these crisis situations before they happen. Parental involvement must also be mindful of the needs of the child and of oneself and others. We need to be consistent but flexible. Um, we need to accept and anticipate change happening at any point because in reality, that's what happens. You cannot always predict what's going to happen. So anticipate. While we strive to be consistent, we should teach our child to be flexible at times. So following a very strict routine might be not that helpful. I think for them to be able to learn how to deal with sudden changes, they have to be exposed to change, or they have to learn how to be flexible when things change, because that's what real life is. It's not predictable most of the time. So parental involvement must also be collaborative. We should work with different uh, teachers, therapists, practitioners. It has to be progressive. We accept diversity and neurodiversity. And then the presumption of competency, I mean, we should presume competence from our children. Doing so will give them more confidence in what they do and develop belief that they can do things on their own. But this belief in competency must also be matched with an acceptance of their limitations. We have to believe that they have their own way of dealing with their challenges, and we can only step in when needed, and keep the communication open. In our case, we choose not to shield our children from the realities of life. Issues of bullying, politics, and even death are just one of the things we talk about in our family. So it is our own way of preparing them for living independent life. So if there are things that the neurodiverse individuals need, there are also a list of what parents need. So this is a short list. I am sharing this to inform others so that they will have an idea of how to help parents with the challenges that go with parenting. So we needed more time, self-care and healthcare, financial support for critical expenses. We also need support system, especially in our families and friends. We also need reassurance from others, and some compassion as well. We need guidance, some form of guidance, and also access to information and resources. And the last one is skills development. As because parenting an autistic individual requires a lot from parents. So to end this presentation, let me share a famous quote from Dr. Temple Grandin. Autism, and I quote, autism is not a tragedy, ignorance is. The tragedy is that people with autism are not understood. And this applies to all parents of autistic children. The challenge is to help parents see the beauty in difference and the strength in diversity. So that's all, and thank you for listening up to this point.
Po,
All right.
Ma'am
Before
Wilma.
we Right. Alice, I'm sorry. Before we continue, first I would like to give our first speaker some ethos or credibility. So you just heard the talk of Miss Wilma Dela Cruz-Ligot. Sorry, she is she holds an she's also an notary student as Teacher Weng. She holds an AB Psych degree from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. She's currently finishing her master's degree in education at UPD, specializing in special education. She's a former board of trustee of the DHD Society of the Philippines, a member of ASP and Fine Philippines. She holds talks on nutrition's role in improving the quality of life of children with special needs, disability rights, and financial literacy. Because she's a as said by her, she's a parent of two sons with autism, and she has talked about autism and parenting today. Ma'am, thank you for your speech once again. And Eliza, sorry, you may continue.
Thank you so much, Christian. And again po, thank you po kay Ma'am Wilma. Just a reminder to our lovely viewers, you may send your thoughts, react.
I'll cover for Eliza. Request reactions and questions are FB Live comments section. So let me give my thoughts first while we wait for Eliza to recover from her technical difficulties. So Miss Wilma, if you're there, thank you so much for your talk. I've really learned a lot coming from someone who has autism. I really appreciated how you really cemented the fact that all people with autism are people. We are different. We may think differently, but we're really different from them. At the same time, we can integrate well. We really want to be a part of society, be a part of normal society. So we want to have smooth transition, smooth integration into how other quote unquote normally behave and act, while at the same time offering our offering our own brand of let's say talk. Maybe if I were to quote Pablo Picasso, and it is a bit attributed to him, I don't know how this will help, but good artists borrow, great artists steal. I'll see if we can. I'll try to put this in light of how social integration works, especially in terms of how all of us will become our artists soon enough. But we'll see later in Q&A. Eliza, are you there? All right. So keep your burning questions in mind, or you can post them for now. We will read them. Wait, let me check. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We we sh- we let's continue for let's wait for a little while before we continue. By the way, you can post your burning questions that will be answered later once we reach our Q&A after all our speakers have presented. While Eliza is loading, let's move on to our next speaker. Once again, thank you po, Mrs. Wilma or Teacher Weng at some viewers natin. At this point, let's move on to our next speaker. Show slide, please. Mrs. Palomares is a mother of a young adult with autism. She is the chairperson of the Boundless Possibilities Foundation Incorporated, or BPFI, and board member of Families of Individuals with Neurodevelopmental Disabilities. She will discuss the activities of persons with autism in her organization, BPFI. May the charming Mrs. Josephine Palomares and enter the virtual stage. It's your time to shine as much as you shine with your UP graduation photo. Ayun.
Okay, thank you. Am I live now?
Yes, you are. We can hear you loud and
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. I was not able to video as Ma'am Wilma did, no? So si Wilma is a co-parent and I've known her for a long time. And maganda yung presentation niya ah, na ginawa. Very comprehensive, no? So let me share my screen. Okay, where am I now? Alam mo, itong mga... So I'm supposed to present, right?
Yes po, you're supposed to
Share.
present.
Share. What do you see now? Do you see my screen? Not yet. Do you see my
There
PowerPoint?
we go. There we go. Yes, you can see your
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Okay, so is it showing now, my PowerPoint?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me this afternoon and talk about Boundless Possibilities Foundation. As you said, I am a mother of a young adult with autism. So happy Autism Month this April. Our name is Boundless Possibilities Foundation. Boundless because there is no limit to what neurodivergence can do. The possibilities are endless. If only they are given a chance or an opportunity to show what they can do. So our logo is it's a shape. It's a human being with both hands in the air, in open arms, representing neurodivergence. So it's pink. We have pink symbolizing immediate family for love, health, and wellness. Green for the community, for sustainability and nurturance. Yellow symbolizing the sun for the energy of all the stakeholders. It is diagonal to represent the vibrant and relevant programs of our foundation. We call our beneficiaries or our neurodivergents the gentle giants. And the gentle giants is a registered trademark of Boundless Possibilities. We were registered in October, just before the pandemic, 2019. Let me briefly tell you how we became to be a foundation. We started as a parent organization, parent support group in 2007. We were the ASP Diliman. And going beyond the parent group, we formed a cooperative in 2013. It is a single-purpose cooperative. Then we become a multi-purpose cooperative in 2016. Thinking more about the future of our children, we then registered to be a foundation in 2019. Our mission is to build one big family for persons with neurodevelopmental disabilities or neurodivergence. So BPF can stand for Building Precious Families, one at a time. And our vision is to become a family community where PNDDs or neurodivergents are understood, accepted, and are given opportunities to be happy, productive, safe, and independent throughout their lives. Our core values: teamwork and collaboration, respect and dignity, love and faith, resilience and perseverance. We have our board of directors, mostly composed of parents, and this is our organizational chart. We have 6 committees: membership, recruitment, and capacity building in yellow boxes, volunteer development, partnership and networking, resource mobilization and development, production and marketing, admin and finance. So this is our board of directors from 2022 to 2025. All parents of neurodivergence. These are programs and services. It used to be just same. Now we have it SAMEE, SSSAAMEE. Spirituality, sports, siblings and support system, advocacy, art, music, entrepreneurship, and employment. So that's triple S, double A, 1M, and double E. For our first S, spirituality, we started the PWD Mass since January 2019. And our neurodivergents would serve as collectors, readers, altar servers, offerers. And once a month, we held it in the two parishes, in the parish of St. Benedict and in the parish of St. Michael. Sadly, we stopped during COVID, but we resumed last March, this March 2023 at the parish of St. Benedict. Okay, there. Yan, March 19. Okay. So we have under letter S, we have Bible study every Friday. This held once a week, every Friday afternoon. Now, actually, 89 na yata kami, 89 lessons. So that's 89 weeks. So what? How many weeks in a year? 52. So we're almost 2 years now, going 2 years with our Bible study. And on the third S is the sports. In 2019, if you remember, we have the PWD Run. And we resume our run clinic last February 4, 2023. And we will have our next PWD Run this May 28, 2023. So hope you can join. Everybody is welcome. All persons with disability, willed or not willed, will be welcome from all ages. Okay. Now, we collaborate with, under our sports program, we collaborate with the UP College of Human Kinetics since 2019. And so we hold, during the COVID, we hold online lessons on dancing and singing twice a week. That's even during COVID. Yan. We also partner with Special Olympics, dance lessons during COVID. Now for our letter A, the next letter of our program stands for A, advocacy. We advocate 4 times a year, every January during Autism Week, every April, World Autism Awareness Day, July for Disability Week, and December for International Persons with Disability. And now actually we have added one, March for Neurodiversity Week. So we also collaborate with other children organizations to give them art lessons. These are the Kabahagi Center of Quezon City in Batasan and the Save the Children Foundation. We do creative journaling for art, the second A of our program. During COVID, we held online art lessons on about any topic there is 3 times a week for 30 minutes. And this has been a very successful program as we were able to produce merchandise items from their collaborative work and sell them to bazaars and friends, the proceeds of which goes back to our gentle giants. We were also able to exhibit online. Some of our gentle giants love photography. So last year, we held a smart photography lessons at the newly opened National Museum. And we will hold an exhibit for that, for our photos. The next letter in our program is music. Our musical program, we actually started this with our yearly caroling way back in 2011 because our gentle giants, they love to sing and dance. In short, they love to perform. So during COVID, we continued this via online. So we had musical, online musical in 2020, 2021, and in 2022. The UP College of Human Phonetics actually helped us, not the gentle giants, to prepare them dance lessons. They hold dance lessons for the gentle giants. In fact, the children of the Quezon City Kabahagi Center, they had two performances during our last year online musical. So the E in our program, the first letter E is entrepreneurship. Very challenging but very exciting. No, we all know that the gentle giants, some of them cannot really be employed, like 85% of them. So we have entrepreneurship activities for them. In 2019, we got a grant from Leonard Cheshire, which enabled them to have baking lessons for 6 months. But then again, COVID struck. But it did not stop us. We sell our merchandise online. Ayan. So we have it on our Facebook. We also do printing on mugs, eco bags, and t-shirts. We train them to print on mugs, eco bags, and t-shirts, their artwork. But then again, COVID-19 for 3 years made our printer, got our printer damaged. So we still have to retrain our gentle giants. So our artwork was commissioned by a Singaporean firm and was put under items like sweatshirts, laptop bags, skirts, etc. So now our printers broke down, so we have to outsource the printing, and maybe we can find donors to give us to donate so we can continue this entrepreneurship program. We are joining also bazaars into 2022 to sell our merchandise, our bake yummies, our print works, and our collaborative art. In 2022, we attended 4 bazaars. So the gentle giants themselves sell their products in bazaars, and they were taught how to convince passersby to look at their items, accept payments, and give change. We have to outsource the printing now, although because of the COVID-19 in our print works business. Now, for the next E, it's employment. No, as I said, only a small percentage of them will be able to find a job. In 2019, we collaborated with Human Nature for the internship of our 4 gentle giants. Sadly, because of COVID again, Human Nature has to put on hold their special needs internship program. They were so close to being hired as regular employees. The gentle giant interns are still hoping to be employed again someday. A child with autism grows up to become an adult with autism. A child with neurodisability grows up to become an adult with neurodisability. Adulthood is the longest stage in one's life, and yet, sad to say, there are very few services available for them. When they grow up to become an adult, they are just like you and me. They need work, or day activities to be productive. They need continuous learning, lest they regress and become less manageable. They need friends. After all, they too are social beings. They need to have fun as well. And most of all, they need our love, patience, and understanding. For they may be different, but not less. Last February, we threw a violent house party for them, and they had the time of their lives. Never mind that some of their dates did not come. The moms more than make up for it. So we collaborate with different organizations like Athletic, UPCHK, Quezon City Pidao, Hagi Center, Save the Children, Literature Share, West Bodies, Special Olympics, St. Benedict Parish, Coastal Air, UP Diliman, and the ANC. So we all heard the saying that it takes a village to raise a child, much more a neurodivergent. I hope we put this into action by supporting the Foundation's projects and programs for our dear gentle clients. And so, my dear listeners, no, let's raise the big A. Autism awareness, autism acceptance, autism appreciation, autism adaptation, autism accommodation, fallability. Salamat po. What happened?
Ayan, I'm back po. Again, thank you so much po, Ma'am Jo. Palakpakan po natin si Ma'am. Again, sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook Live, you are more than welcome to react and send your thoughts and questions through the comment section. Alam mo, partner Christian, with what Ma'am Jo shared in her presentation, it showed how important it is to have a community who supports you, accepts you, and gives opportunities to our brothers and sisters to be happy, productive, to feel safe and independent through their lives. Napakaganda ng mga activities nila Ma'am Jo, no? May pa-sports, arts, photography, and through their programs, our brothers and sisters were able to share and show their skills and talents. Ikaw, partner, anong say mo?
I agree with you a lot, Alisa. The, I really love the dedication of Mrs. Jo, to set up this organization to help other people, especially adults, since we really need them to also help them integrate din sa normal society din. And that's my thoughts. We can move to our third speaker.
Thank you so much, Christian. And again, warmest thanks po, Ma'am Jo. Thank you po. And now, we move on to our final speaker for today. Okay, Mr. Randy Motoomull is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. He is currently working at Project Inclusion Network as a finance and admin assistant. He will discuss the employment situation of persons with autism. Welcome po, Sir Randy.
Uh, Sorry there. All right. Thank you, everyone, especially to my fellow speakers, Mrs. Wilma Ligot and Mrs. Jo Palomares. Mrs. Palomares is right. Not all people with autism can get a job, since some people with autism can't perform activities of daily living. But I'm gonna talk about those people with autism who could be employed, and this is about the roles of people with autism in the workplace. So these are the abilities that the companies and employers may expect from people with autism. Next slide, please. There. Abilities employers may expect from people with autism. Number one, attention to detail. Um, Many individuals with autism have a keen eye for detail and can excel in tasks that require precision, accuracy, and attention to detail. And then this can be particularly valuable in fields such as data analysis, quality control, research, and other roles that require meticulousness and thoroughness. Number two, you have strong memory and recall abilities. Some individuals with autism have exceptional memory and recall abilities, which can be an asset in roles that require memorization of information such as customer service, technical support, or knowledge-based jobs. So number one is related to number three and number four, as you could see later. Okay. Number three is the ability to focus and concentrate. Individuals with autism may have a high level of focus and concentration, which can enable them to excel in tasks that require sustained attention and concentration. This can be advantageous in roles that involve repetitive or detail-oriented work, as well as jobs that require deep focus and analysis. Um, Number four, next slide, please. Analytical and logical thinking. Many individuals with autism have strong analytical and logical thinking skills, which can be beneficial in fields such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. They may excel in problem solving, pattern recognition, and data analysis, bringing a unique perspective and approach to complex tasks. And next slide, please. Creativity and innovation. Some individuals with autism possess a high degree of creativity and innovation, which can be an asset in fields that require original thinking such as art, design, music, or writing. They may have unique perspectives and approaches and ideas that can contribute to innovative solutions and creative problem solving. Next slide, please. Knowledge, specialized knowledge or expertise, rather. Some individuals with autism may have specialized knowledge and expertise in specific areas of interest such as history, geography, computer programming, and other niche subjects. This can make them a valuable asset in roles that require specialized knowledge or expertise. Next slide, please. Okay, reliability and consistency. Many individuals with autism are known for their reliability, punctuality, and adherence to routine. They may excel in roles that require consistent performance, adherence to schedules, and strict compliance with rules or procedures. Next slide, please. Loyal and dedicated work ethic. Individuals with autism can be highly committed and dedicated to their work, often taking pride in their accomplishments and striving for excellence. They may be loyal employees who are committed to their job and workspace and can contribute to a positive work culture. Next slide, please. So these are the practical tips and strategies to include people autism in companies or in the workplace. And number one, you have education and training. Provide education and training for all employees, including managers and colleagues about autism spectrum disorder or ASD to increase awareness and understanding. This can include information on the characteristics, behaviors, strengths, and challenges associated with autism, as well as strategies for effective communication and interaction. Next slide, please. Okay, you have clear communication. Okay. Ensure that communication in the workplace is clear, direct, and consistent. And then use visual aids written instructions, and visual schedules to facilitate communication for individuals with autism who may have challenges with verbal communication or understanding social cues. Number three, sensory considerations. Be mindful of sensory sensitivities and provide accommodations as needed. This may include creating quiet spaces, reducing excessive noise, adjusting lighting, or allowing use of sensory tools like fidget items or noise canceling headphones. Next slide, please. Number four, you have flexibility in work arrangements. Provide flexibility in work arrangements such as flexible work hours, remote work options, or modified tasks to accommodate the unique needs and preferences of individuals with autism. This can help manage sensory sensitivities, routine disrupt, please. Social support. Foster a supportive and inclusive work culture where individuals with autism feel comfortable and accepted. Encourage social interactions, provide opportunities for team building, and promote understanding and empathy among colleagues. Next slide, please. Clear expectations and structure. Provide clear expectations and structure in job tasks and responsibilities to help individuals with autism understand their roles and responsibilities. Use visual aids, written instructions, and checklists to facilitate understanding and organization. Next slide, please. Reasonable accommodations. Provide reasonable accommodations based on individual needs of employees with autism. This may include adjustments in work tasks, workstations, or other accommodations as identified through an interactive process, individual, and their support team. Next slide, please. Mentoring and coaching. Offer mentoring and coaching programs to provide additional support and guidance for individuals with autism in their workplace. They'll build confidence and succeed in their roles. Next slide, please. Equal opportunities for advancement. Ensure that individuals with autism have opportunities for skill building, training, and promotions based on merit and ability. Okay. Next slide, please. Flexibility in performance evaluations. Recognize that individuals with autism may have unique performance evaluation needs. Or as Ms. Wilma said, each and every person with autism is different. And then provide flexibility in performance evaluations taken into consideration the individual's strengths, challenges, and progress, and provide constructive feedback and support for improvement. Next slide, please. So these are the resources and tools to support people with autism in the workplace. So these are the organizations to ask questions about people with autism. So number one, Autism Society Philippines, or ASP. Okay, ASP is a nonprofit organization in the Philippines that advocates for the rights of individuals with autism and provides support to individuals with autism and their families. They offer resources, training, and programs on topics such as inclusive employment, workplace and accommodations, and disability rights. Next slide, please. Okay, Department of Labor Employment, or DOLE. DOLE is a government agency in the Philippines that promotes and protects the welfare of workers, including those with disabilities. They provide information, guidelines, and resources for employers and employees on inclusive employment practices, reasonable accommodations, and workplace rights for individuals with disabilities, including autism. Next slide, please. Council of Disability Affairs, or CDA. CDA is a government agency in the Philippines that promotes and protects the rights and welfare of persons with disabilities, including those with autism. So they offer resources, guidelines, and programs on inclusive employment practices, accessibility, and disability rights. Next slide, please. Autism Resource Center, or ARC. ARC is a nonprofit organization in the Philippines that provides resources, services, and support to individuals with autism and their families. They offer training, workshops, and programs on topics such as inclusive employment, workplace accommodations, and social skills development. Next slide, please. Autism Hearts Foundation, AHF. AHF is a nonprofit organization in the Philippines that advocates for individuals with autism and provides support to individuals with autism and their families. They offer resources, programs, and services on topics such as inclusive employment, vocational training, and workplace skills development. Next slide, please. No, no, no. No, no. Next slide. Not that. Yeah, that one. Jobs. No, not that one. JobStreet Philippines. JobStreet is a popular online job portal in the Philippines that provides job opportunities for individuals with disabilities, including autism. Employers can post job openings with inclusive employment practices, and job seekers with autism can search for job opportunities that align with their skills and interests. Next slide, please. Okay, you have disability organizations and advocacy groups. So there are many disability organizations and advocacy groups in the Philippines, such as Prosecution Network, or PIN, and Association for Adults with Autism Philippines, or AAAP, that provide resources, support, and guidance on inclusive employment practices, workplace accommodations, and disability rights. These organizations can provide valuable information and assistance in creating an inclusive work environment for individuals with autism. Okay, next slide, please. So these are the companies and organizations that have successfully hired people with autism. Number one, Jollibee Foods Corporation, or Jollibee. Jollibee, one of the largest fast food chains in the Philippines, has implemented an inclusive employment program called Hand in Hand that aims to provide employment opportunities for individuals with autism and other disabilities. They have created customized job roles and accommodations based on the strengths and abilities of individuals' autism, such as providing visual aids, simplified task instructions, and structured work routines. Jollibee has reported positive outcomes, including increased job satisfaction, improved work performance, and enhanced social skills for people with autism. Next slide, please. Okay, SAP Philippines. SAP, a multinational software company, has implemented an inclusive employment program in the Philippines called Autism at Work in partnership with Autism Society Philippines. The program provides training, mentorship, and employment opportunities for individuals with autism and software testing roles. SAP has implemented various accommodations, such as providing a structured work environment, using visual aids, and assigning mentors to support employees with autism. The program has resulted in increased employment opportunities for individuals with autism and improved diversity and inclusion within the company. Next slide, please. White Bean Cafe. White Bean Cafe, a coffee shop in the Philippines, has implemented an inclusive employment program called Puzzle Gourmet Store and Cafe that employs individuals with autism and other disabilities. They provide on-the-job training, personalized job roles and accommodations such as visual aids, clear task instructions, and flexible work schedules. White Bean Cafe has reported positive outcomes, including improved social skills, increased self-esteem, enhanced customer service skills for employees with autism. Next slide, please. Microsoft Philippines. Microsoft, a global technology company, has implemented an inclusive employment program in the Philippines called Enabling Abilities that aims to provide employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities, including autism. They provide training, mentorship, and customized job roles based on the skills and abilities of individuals with autism. Microsoft has implemented accommodations such as assistive technologies, flexible work arrangements, and disability awareness training for their employees. The program has resulted in increased employment opportunities and improved workplace inclusion for individuals with autism. Next slide, please. And finally, you have SM Supermalls, or SM. SM Supermalls, one of the largest mall chains in the Philippines, has implemented an inclusive employment program called Persons with Disabilities, or PWD program, that promotes employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities, including autism. We provide job training, reasonable accommodations, and supportive work environments for employees with autism and other disabilities. SM Supermalls has reported positive outcomes, including increased employment opportunities, improved customer service, and enhanced workplace diversity. So that's all. And thank you, everyone.
I am. Oh, hey, hello everyone. Ayun, thank you very much, Mr. Randy Motoomull, to our lovely Facebook Live viewers. You're more than welcome to send reacts and share your thoughts and questions to the comment section. We'd love to see you support. Sa tingin ko, for Boss Randy po, you really plotted out what how companies could interact with, how companies could help us, people with special needs, people with autism, adapt to the workforce, how to adapt what our special condition to, so that we can perform our work better, what skills we can present as if we want to be interviewed, maybe for possible jobs, no? And the companies that we can look for as our prospective job job locations or job companies, if we want, if other people like us want to be part of the workforce. Ayun. Ikaw, Alisa, partner, anong say mo?
Yes, partner. Thank you po, Sir Randy, sa presentation nyo. In addition sa sinabi mo, partner, with the right support for our brothers and sisters with autism in the workplace area, they can still excel, they can strive, and they can be productive. And our brothers and sisters, the company, the co-workers, by understanding each other, knowing the weaknesses and strengths, and improving those strengths, for sure it will make way for positive outcomes and results. Ayun, partner.
Ayun, thank you so much. Ngayon, oras na para sa ating open forum. All your burning questions that you wanted to ask our three speakers, we can now put them on Facebook. We can ask them what you really want, ask them what you really want to learn more from them. Let's welcome back our other two speakers, Ms. Wilma Ligot and Ms. Jo Palomares. Thank you so much for your time and for giving this time sa ating mga sa mga Q&A. All right.
Okay, sige magbasa
Ah,
tayo partner 'no ng mga
of
question.
course, ayun.
Okay, sa Facebook Live natin may question tayo from Ma'am Lerma, basahin ko partner,
Of course,
Ah,
of course.
what advice can you give to a parent with a child who has autism if the parent also has autism? I guess this is direct for Ma'am Wilma.
Um,
Is Ma'am Wilma po? Ayan,
yes,
nasa virtual
ayun.
platform na
Hello,
po.
hello.
Oh,
And
hello!
yun nga.
I tried answering yung nakalagay dun sa dun sa message kanina
Yes,
kasi 'di ba
yes.
lumabas ako. As a person with autism themselves, yung parents, they can be the best mentor for their child. Having experience having lived the condition themselves, no? Pero sabi ko nga, 'di ba sa presentation ko, no two autistics are the same. Pwedeng magkaiba ang challenges ng anak dun sa magulang. But overall, the parent can understand fully what the child is going through. So they can figure out, or she can figure out how to better help her child, knowing understanding the condition himself or herself. I hope na nasagot ko. Si Ma'am Jo, baka may ibang
Oo
take
nga.
doon.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
parent siya eh.
Yes po, Ma'am Jo. How about you po, ma'am?
Okay. Very challenging sa
Very
isang family
challenging.
yan, na both parents and children has autism. Normally, pag yung parents nagkaroon ng isang a person na nagkaroon ng asawa at nanganak, medyo high funk na autistic yun. So, ang magiging, meron kasi tayong high functioning, yung nasa spectrum yung tinatawag natin mga ASPI. Yan. So, ang magiging maganda dyan kung may family support pa aside from the immediate family. Merong parent, merong mga lolas and lolo. Kasi yung mga persons with autism, meron silang challenges sa kanilang communication skills at saka yung adaptation. So, normally naman, yung isa sa parent, hindi autistic. Normally. Napaka-impossible na pareho yung magkakaroon ng pareho silang autistic na level. Kasi wala pa akong kakilalang gano'n na parehong so far. So I cannot really.
I would just like to add na yung conditions kasi ng autism presents itself differently to different individuals. So kung nagkataon na naging parent na siya, I agree with Ma'am Jo. It could be a very mild form of autism or yung tinatawag nating low support ang kailangan, hindi yung high support ang kailangan. So I think they will be the best persons to assist and figure out kung anong klaseng accommodation yung kailangan ng mga anak nila.
Ayun. Anything else from you two? Also, Sir Randy, I think if you want to hop in, if you want to join the discussion, do you have anything to answer there?
Yeah, that's a good question. If the parent is also has autism, yeah, I mean, well, I was also diagnosed myself. We're in better position to understand since we may experience the same issues that our children will experience. I mean, communication skills and ability to adjust, for example. Okay. So that will, but as I Miss Ligot is right. People autism are different, even though the same level are different. Because we have different we experience different traits of the condition differently. Okay? Functioning, the social skills, the ability to adjust, answer issues, and so on and so forth. So um, we can as parents, I mean, we can send children. I mean, better intervention skills so that teach children to be more self-sufficient if possible. But remember, not all people with autism can be self-sufficient. But better if the child is high function also, since the person can get a job. I mean, that's the aim of every parent, the child to be independent. So that's all.
Ayun, thank you so much for your questions. For question to your responses to Lerma's question. I'd like to I'd like to give a special shout out po to Sir Mr. Mr. Clarence for because sabi niya, good job Tita Jo of BFPI, the legend and inspiration. Thank you for your time today. All the best for you and your family from San Hasan, who's also in BFPI. And he also gave his kudos here. They pala, sorry. It's 2023. We have to be careful with their pronouns. So they also gave um, their kudos to Ronald. Keep on inspiring your fellow persons on the spectrum. All the best for you and your family. And to all persons on the spectrum, thank you for your time. And PS, for those of you who don't know, if it's okay with you, if we could like to introduce you, he's a person with autism currently based in Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. He graduated BA Coms last year in Ateneo de Zamboanga University. Woo! Sisters University. He's an aspiring professional photographer, filmmaker, and actor. Looking forward to meet and work with you guys when they finally move back to Manila this year. God willing. Keep up the good work. Sends his kudos again to us, hosts, speakers, partners, and fellow people on the spectrum. Ayan, so let me ask a burning question po to Randy kasi sorry for taking too long. If you would like to respond po to Clarence, anyone like to respond muna?
Ano po yung question?
Well,
It's not a
me,
question. This is more he's giving his kudos po. Kudos po.
Oh, thank you.
well, me, I personally know Clarence, fellow person autism. He's also inspiration. Actually, he's a little better than me, especially the social stuff. He, thank you for that message. That's nice one, Clarence. And looking forward to see you here in Manila.
Ayun, thank you po, Clarence. Okay, I'd personally like to ask a question to you, Randy, because I'm also a ComSci graduate, albeit with an additional unused game development degree and a minor in creative writing. Pero how hard was it to adjust to your course? Because being autistic, di ba, or being someone with autism, apologies, um, I sometimes not all of us feel na ComSci is an easy subject. Sometimes because even I during my college years no in Ateneo de Manila, I had struggles with computer science kasi it takes a great deal of problem solving skills. Now, how did you how did you use your special skills to your advantage, especially in the world of computer science?
Well, to be honest, I hate programming myself, as especially the syntax errors. But yeah, especially the mathematical side. Yeah, I mean, it's helpful because in the workplace, you may use calculations that, like for instance, in my current job in finance, you calculate numbers, no, for revenue,
Mm.
profit, and those things. So yeah, in that sense, it is a help, and also, the logical side of it, as I shown my the previous podcast, because people autism are well, we're fond of patterns, and as Temple Grandin said, we think in pictures. So there, we we love to deal with things, especially those that are, that are in structured order, like numbers, for example. And yeah, well, there are things, there are ways to deal with some scenarios that are um, unpredictable in a predictable manner. I mean, like in like on drone right now, I hate the kind of unpredictability a bit, but that's why in emails, for example, I simply, especially weekdays, I just simply turn on my email, wait for the message. I mean, so
Mm.
there, that's one way to deal with that.
May
Ah,
I
yes.
may I
Oh,
add
sorry.
something?
Sure, sure, sure.
My son is also part of the IT workforce. Um, so I would just like to point out that part of being autistic is yung tinatawag nilang hyperfocus or yung strength yon. Kaya siguro kayo thrive in a particular area. It's because that's your strength, no? So for parents, they have to support their kids when they find out kung ano yung mga skill sets, kung saan sila mas nag-focus or kung saan sila mas interested. Kahit na sabihin natin Red is interested in programming, he is actually parang obsessed with programming since grade school. He struggled sa college going through yung mga requirements ng courses. But still, because that's his interest, he finished it. So with the right support, people with autism can actually achieve those things.
Mm.
So for other autistics na sabihin natin with high support, they have their gifts. It's up to the parents to or the families to discover kung saan yung gift nila. Some people may not reach college, but they can mag ano sila sa arts or performing arts. So it's a spectrum. You have to find out where the strength is and give support dun sa weaknesses.
Okay po. Yun nga. Yun. To add po, sige magpakitang gilas ng resume. What languages do you code in though, Randy? What languages have you coded in for your work?
Well, no, in school, for example, I've exposure to Java, C there,
Hmm.
and HTML, PHP there.
Hmm. Ooh, I see. Cause on my end naman, I don't know if Red's here in the call. Pero these languages might be familiar to you. I've coded in Python, Java, and C++. But mostly, I've also done front end HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But personally, for me, if I were to recommend a programming language for people to start, if it's actual programming and not Scratch, not visual code, because that's a different thing altogether. Also, it's good Python first, because once you get the basics in Python, since then you can move on to others like Java, others like C, because Python for me, when you teach programming, Python should be the start, because it's basic enough for people to understand. So it's like it's transitioning from how we tell our computer to do things to how they're going to understand. Um, but let me keep the technical discussion to a minimum, and let's hear from hear from Liz. Sorry, hear from Lizette. Yes, yun nga. Some people don't understand coding. So let's keep the tech talk to a minimum. Our job kasi our jobs as ComSci people is we know how to understand the language of a computer. We just need to teach the non computer speaking people how to speak computer basically. But let's move on to Lizette. Lizette, would you like to be known? Would you like to share your question here? Um,
Ayan. May question daw po si Miss Lizette about
Please.
accommodation
Assistance.
assistance.
Yes, yun.
Yes. If she can further provide more information po, ano po bang specific accommodation assistance in Manila po ang inyong question, Ma'am Lizette? So our speakers can also answer po. Yan. Sige po, while waiting po for Ma'am Lizette's question po for more information about just a more brief background po. May question po ako for Ma'am Wilma, especially for our viewers, no, na parents po, baka may mga parents tayo na nanonood. What advice po can you give to parents, especially those who are experiencing or who are currently in the crisis situation, especially on transition, how they can overcome this po?
Oo, transition. Okay. Um, different kasi I can answer dun sa case na pinagdaanan namin dun sa anak ko. Kasi iba-iba nga ang crisis situation ng iba't ibang tao. For sa case ni Red, since I asked permission naman to share his story dito sa webinar na to para ma-raise din yung awareness ng iba. In his case, every transition, we observed na lumalabas yung anger issues, madaling mairita, madali silang mag-explode. Yon. That's the time na syempre to detect na every transition nangyayari, you have to undergo siguro 1 or 2 transition periods for you to know the pattern, no? So since alam na namin na ganun, middle school, and then ano yung susunod na transition? Going to senior high school, 'di ba? Patapos ng senior high school, in-anticipate na namin that there's going to be another episode like that. So we engage with a professional psychologist and psychiatrist to help out. Kasi we are not experts sa ganung area. Like, he underwent depression. So, we know the symptoms. We know that he needed professional help. So, as parents, we talk to him and explain that there are things that we can help him with, but there are things na kailangan professional na yung tutulong. So, as parents, we need to accept yung limit natin. Hindi po pwedeng i-ano mo yan, ilaban mo yan kahit hindi mo na kaya, di ba? So, in crisis situations like that, you have to refer to professionals na. And wag kayong matatakot mag-ask for help. Kung wala kayong makuhang professionals or hindi accessible, you can resort to other disability groups for support groups, yung mga ganon, for therapies or other services ng mga institutions like halimbawa sa Ateneo, sa Bulatao, they give counseling, yung mga ganon. So you find ways how will paano matutulungan yung bata with their consent, kasi the help can be hard if they are not willing din. So tulungan ng families, tulungan nung individual mismo at nung mga teachers and other family members. I hope I answered the question. Ma'am Jo, baka meron kang parent din si Ma'am Jo. Pagtulungan natin, Ma'am Jo.
Sa akin, to each his own, kanya-kanyang...
May kanya-kanya nga sila.
Oo, kanya-kanyang yan. So, yung as a parent, you also learn from them. So, adjust, and then, until you... Kumbaga, mahihit mo rin yung button after so many errors and trials. Yun ang ko. That's it.
Thank you so much po, Ma'am Wilma and Ma'am Jo. Yes po. Balikan po natin yung question ni Ma'am Lizette.
Lizette, yes. Ayun. Is it okay if I can read it? Sige. Before we continue, I think her son Clarence. Tama ba Clarence, no? Correct pronouns. We're in 2023, we have to confirm. Ayun. Let's read what he said. Let's check. Ayun, tama, he pala yun. Thank you for that clarification. You know, it's 2023. Again, I have to reiterate. There's a lot of things getting canceled. What my mom means is how would he gain what his mom means is how he gain assistance in accommodation when he moves back to Manila, like where can he stay? Because like us, he wants to have an independent life, like he used to when he was still based in Manila. Ayun, so anyone can help him with that, no?
Accommodation, assistance in accommodation. What do you mean? He's looking for a place to stay?
I think so. Like how, more or less, like how would he gain assistance in accommodation? Maybe like, kasi I think no, it's more of since people with autism they're different, but they also have big dreams. Like they want to move to Manila, they want to work. I guess, no, in terms of like survivability in how to survive in Manila. Let's check that.
Mahirap sagutin yan kasi we don't know the context. We don't know the context of the person, no? We don't know the challenges nung individual who wants to live an independent life. It's not easy to give advice nang hindi mo alam yung context. Pasensya na, sorry.
I think no, sorry. I'll step out of it muna. I'll ask the host to bring our question speaker. I'll ask the tech to bring our question speaker in. Tech, please take me out for now. Bring Lizette in so that she can share what she wants to say no to our speakers. So the discussion will be more engaged and more fluid. Ma'am Lizette, wait lang po. I will step out muna for you to end.
Okay po. Let's wait for Ma'am Lizette. Ayan po. Baka maka-enter na po siya in a while. Ayan. We cannot hear you, ma'am.
Nakamute po.
No audio pa rin po.
Yung parang maliit na mic po, ma'am, hanapin nyo. Baka naka-mute.
Ayan. How about po, ma'am? You can unmute yourself. Unmute po muna.
Hindi kaya ng host.
Wala pa rin po yata. Yes po, we cannot still hear you, ma'am.
Baka yung yung headphone niya hindi nakasaksak maayos.
But I guess po, Ma'am Lizette can hear us. It's just
Oo.
that po, we cannot hear her. And maybe you can chat po. For the meantime, ma'am, your inquiry po in our chat box. So we can also, baka po may mga viewers din tayo na interested to know about accommodation assistance. So it's really good po na we can also hear. No audio pa rin po, ma'am. Anyway po, for the meantime, while our tech team po are helping Ma'am Lizette to fix her audio po, to Ma'am Jo po, my question po, especially since your organization po have a different activities for our brothers and sisters. Ma'am, what do you think po is the importance in joining or participating these activities like the arts, photography, baking, musical, for our brothers and sisters with autism in preparing them for real life situations or life in general po? Ma'am, you're on mute po.
As I mentioned in my last slide, a child with autism does not remain a child. He grows up to be an adult. So ano bang mga kailangan ng adult? You are an adult. We are an adult. So yung adulthood actually yung pinakamahaba sa stage ng isang tao. Stage ng buhay ng isang tao, yung adulthood. Kaya sadly, marami na tayong mga SPED centers, marami na tayo for children, yung government involved na dyan. Kailangan natin ang mga services for adults with neurodevelopmental disabilities. Kaya we have a foundation. Kasi when they age out of school, by age out of school, I mean, they don't like to be in school anymore because they're 20s, they're 30s. They don't want to mingle with 6 years old, 7 years old na mga SPED children. Ayaw na nila. Kasi delayed lang naman sila eh. But they're also adults. They want to work. They want to be productive. So what's the alternative? Wala. Babalik sila sa bahay. And all the skills they learn in SPED, nagre-regress lang yan. Kaya I am hoping that the government will be able to, and more private individuals. Kasi yung foundation naman namin, it can be replicated anywhere else. Basta may mga parents na, and the government can take over the activities of the foundation. So, yun ang dapat, yung market na yon, yung mga adults, dapat yung mga services that they need, dapat matugunan na yon. Kasi they need it. They need that service. Ang mahirap pa, spectrum yan. So, unlike yung range. So, yung mga iba interested sa arts, yung mga iba interested sa sports, yung mga iba interested sa photography. Range yung kanilang interest and abilities. Yeah, kailangan i-balance. Okay, I hope I answered that question.
I would just like to add also, yung by engaging the kids sa mga ganong programs, they will discover kung saan sila mas fit. So maganda yung may mga ganon na may options yung mga individuals ng mga activities, various activities. With my kids, ganun ang ginawa namin eh. Kahit neurotypical pa sila, you expose to different experiences. That's when you will discover kung, at sila rin makaka-discover kung saan sila mas mag-fit. Especially kung adults na. Yon.
Yes po.
Ayun.
Thank you so much po, Ma'am Jo and Ma'am Wilma. And I hope po sa mga listeners or viewers po natin sa Facebook Live, they are also learning a lot, especially on our topic for today.
Yun nga. Yes po, I agree with you. Let's entertain po something from my friend who is in the chat. To Sir Randy. I'm a computer science graduate also, and my work experience so far is working as customer service rep at a call center. I want to go back to programming, and my cousin already suggested that we learn or relearn Python. I just need credible and actual resources for where we can learn Python, but hopefully lessons that aren't boring po. Thanks. Have you tried Python before, Sir Andy?
I should, maybe work on. I mean, Python be a good one because I heard that it's simple, and it's the program language used for artificial intelligence. But well, it doesn't really matter in the end because, as you can see, ChatGPT can even create programs. So in the future, AI can create more complex programs. Even programmers may lose their jobs. So the future, maybe just work on any job and save enough money to invest, and you get passive income, because in the future we'll be depending on that, either passive income or they say universal basic income, since the robots will be taking our jobs. So there.
Yun nga, as someone who was also in this field na, I feel na even people who read sci-fi will know that eventually it's going to happen. Robots will be taking over our lives. But thankfully, we're at that stage that where we still have control over the programs we build, the machine learning programs that we created, artificial intelligence that are still budding with our help. We just need to make sure that if we want to have AI help us in our lives, we want to, especially for us people with special needs, we want to make sure na we are of we control them well, no? We control them well, no? Ayun, no? And ayun, so let's hear po from our founder. Wait lang. Ayun, Alexi, can you read the question from our founder himself, Sir Roylan?
Yes po. For Sir Randy po ito, paano mai-improve ang skills ng mga PWA at PWD na walang trabaho at nakatenga lang sa bahay for almost 2 years and up?
Sorry.
Okay
ko
po,
na
sir.
putol-putol kasi. Ano pa rin?
Okay po, sir. Okay po, I'll repeat the
Okay, go
question
ahead.
po. Paano mai-improve ang skills ng mga PWA at PWD na walang trabaho at nakatenga lang sa bahay for almost 2 years and up?
Ganito. Kung may pera, kukuha ng mga at saka may kakayahan, kumuha mga certificate or kahit po master's degree para may ibang matutunan, or yung yun, example, yung mga cook, yung natuto magluto, yung mga culinary school, no? Kung walang trabaho, yun nga lang, kailan mo pera para gumastos ng gano'n. So yun naman suggestion ko.
Thank you po, Sir Randy. Siguro in addition lang po dun sa question po, how can companies, the co-workers, and our brothers and sisters with autism po in the workplace area can really maximize the right tools so that they can excel, they can be productive in their work po?
Well, it just plays to basically the strengths of people with autism generally. Their strong logical thinking skills or pattern making, and then that includes the attention to detail, focus, and I mean tailored to those skills basically, and as well as actually it's an edge. The lack are social inepts are being socially inept because we can concentrate more what we're doing instead of you know talking to people, wasting our time. So, and it even goes on to sensory level. Even like for example, if someone is uncomfortable sitting, the chair because the cloth is not too comfortable, just simply replace the chair something that's more comfortable to the person. For example, I mean those things. Just simply look at the strengths the person notice, and because each one is us different, and use that to the company's advantage.
Thank you po, sir. And meron din pong addition si Ma'am Wilma.
Chinat ko na lang. Actually, meron kasing pag-aaral na yung mga persons with autism at saka yung mga PWDs during the lockdown, mas nag-thrive sila. Why? Because mas naging parang patas ang labanan dahil mas techy, yung ano ba to, mas ano sila sa technology, lalo na with persons with autism. Yung person-to-person interaction, medyo hindi sila doon malakas, di ba? So, kapag online, mas nakakapag-interact sila. Parang ganon. So, some of the kids then, they were able to discover that certain skills that they don't know they have during the lockdown. So, yun, hindi all bad sa tingin ko, yung nangyaring lockdown. Meron din good na nangyari. Maraming discoveries na nangyari.
Yes po. Thank you so much po, Ma'am Jo. Ma'am Wilma. And meron pa po tayong additional question still for Ma'am Weng and Ma'am Jo. Yes po. Paano naman natin matututukan yung mga children with autism sa kanilang natuklasang skills? For example, arts, music, sport, and the like po.
Oh, Ma'am Jo, ikaw muna.
Yun nga, sinabi mention na ni Mami Wen kanina na pag may nakitang skill, bugbugin mo ng bugbugin mo ng therapy, bugbugin mo ng mga puro lessons. Kasi kung yun lang wag mo nang pag-aralin ng college. Tutukan mo na lang doon sa skill niya.
Baka gusto mag-college.
Kung gusto mag-college, okay. Pero kung baking ang gusto niya, baking na ang entrada na. Wag nang pang academics. Kung gusto niya yung mga technical work, do away with the academics kasi doon sa magta-thrive. So meron tayong notion yung mga Filipino na yung mga blue collar jobs di ba? So dito kung saan sila mag-thrive, support lang 100%, 200% support.
Oo, I agree with what Ma'am Jo said. Kung nakita mo na yun yung skill, halimbawa arts, you try to utilize that interest to teach the child para mas maging ma-enhance pa yung kanyang skill. Halimbawa, may mga bata na mahilig sa cars. So, baka yung line of work na gusto niya doon. 'Di ba? Yung mga mahilig sa computer. So, you try to align yung pwede nilang maging track sa buhay dun sa interest nila.
Yes po. Thank you so much po for that, Ma'am Jo and Ma'am Wilma. Okay po. Sayang po 'no, hindi natin narinig si Ma'am Lizette kanina for her question. But maybe po, she can directly contact po our speaker so that, you can also just answer it po. May technical problem lang po on the audio but, for sure po, our speakers are really, would like to answer your question po, Ma'am Lizette. Okay po. Partner?
Ayun. Sige. One last question to cap off our open forum, unless there's any more to follow. Pero since this organization is called Hands in Inclusion, we would like to ask, define inclusion. What is inclusion for you?
Sino una?
May bataya.
Maybe po we can follow po yung order ng presentation kanina.
Okay.
So si Ma'am Wilma, Ma'am Jo, and Sir
Okay.
Randy.
Actually, I've covered that in the presentation no? Na nailinaw ko yon kung anong klaseng society yung gusto natin. It's a society na lahat ay included, lahat ay accepted for who they are, 'di ba? Despite their differences. Sa akin, ganun ang inclusion. So, yung mga policies ng government, programs and services, I am hoping na they work towards including everyone. Hindi yung napag-iiwanan yung mga katulad natin sa sektor ng mga may kapansanan. Ma'am Jo.
Yes. 100% agree. Yun naman talaga, as Mr. Webster defines inclusion. No one left behind. Kasi, they need our support. It takes a village. It takes a community to raise a child. Kaya maganda yung community-based rehab. Like what our foundation is doing. Nasa community kami. We're attending PWD masses. We are having projects na naka-involve ang community, ang school, ang University of the Philippines. They don't like to include us, we assert ourselves na please include us kasi we must be included. Simula ka sa community. Yan yung kasi dyan sila gagalaw Doon gumagalaw yung mga persons with autism. Nasa community. So, i-assert mo yung sarili mo sa community. Simulan mo sa subdivision nyo, sa barangay nyo, then go to the schools, go to the barangay, go to the mayor. Ang wag kang mahihiyang humingi. Ask 1 million times.
Engage.
It will be given to you. Always ask.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Well, inclusion is simply acceptance and then concentrating more on strengths and weaknesses. As you mentioned, no one left behind.
Thank you for your inputs na talaga. Let's wait 1 more minute to entertain more questions. Pero if wala, let's move on.
Yes po. Again, if our viewers po have questions, feel free to chat it. And kung hindi
Yes.
naman po siya masagot now in our question and answer portion, for sure po masasagot yan on the comment section po. Okay? And this is not a question na po, but a final few words of wisdom for our viewers today. So, Ma'am Wilma, Ma'am Jo, and Sir Randy, any few words po, especially to all our viewers, Facebook Live viewers, to all our, kung sino pa man po ang reach out nitong webinar na to, what are your final words of wisdom for them? So, unahin naman po natin si Sir
Unahin dulo.
Randy. No? Yes po. Unahin naman natin si Sir Randy, followed by Ma'am Jo and Ma'am Wilma po.
Okay. Since I talked about employment, this is a call to the companies. Please consider hiring people differently abled, especially those with autism. Okay, we have strengths that you could use. Okay, in spite of our weaknesses, and studies have shown, and as I've said in the slide regarding SM, no, their profits increased actually by hiring people with disabilities, including those with autism. So please consider hiring people with autism.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Sa akin naman yung sinabi ko, napakadaming A. Ilan bang A yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Would you like to share
Awareness.
share again?
Autism awareness, autism acceptance, autism appreciation, autism adaptation, autism accommodation. Call to action na yan. So, that's all abilities and inclusion. Sama kayo dyan. So, salamat sa ginagawa nyo that you're raising all these A's. Awareness, appreciation. Salamat sa hand and inclusion that ito maraming natututunan, maraming nalalaman yung mga tao in social media sa lahat. So I salute you and lahat kayo ay lahat kayo ay nasa spectrum, lahat kayo ay so I congratulate you, no. You should help more of our gentle giants to be like you. Okay, that's all.
Ako naman. As coming from the perspective ng parents, I hope everyone supports initiatives that empowers persons with disabilities. Yung mga ganito pong initiatives like yung mga webinars, mga projects, mga groups of disabilities na nagsusupport sa kanila, let's support them po. And also accept them sa society for who they are. Yun po.
Again po.
Empowerment.
Yes po. Again po, thank you so much po, Sir Randy, Ma'am Jo, and Ma'am Wilma. Palakpakan po natin sila. Thank you po for sharing your time, your knowledge to everyone po who are watching and joining us for today's webinar. At dito na po nagtatapos ang ating open forum. Thank you po sa ating speakers and Facebook Live viewers. At magkakaroon po muna tayo ng commercial break. At matapos nito ay ang pagbibigay ng mga sertipiko. Magbabalik po ang gabay makalipas ang ilang paalala.
Ayan. Hello everyone. Sana okay pa kayo dyan. You hope you use this little commercial break to do what you need. Like, sana nakapag-merienda po kayo, uminom kayo ng tubig or you had your bathroom break. But I digress. Welcome back everyone to Gabay, our second official webinar of Hands Inclusion in 2023. Before we continue, I'll give a short wrap-up of what we've learned. We've learned from Teacher Weng about her experiences with her sons as people with autism, how we in a society should know about what we are and what we can do. Miss Jo Palomares has shared about her organization, Boundless Possibilities, their advocacy and their programs that can help their gentle giants with their how to integrate them better and how to include them better in society. And we've also heard from Mr. Randy Motoomull about his experiences as someone with special needs in the workforce and how we can prove beneficial to companies in the workforce as well. Now let us give honor and commendation to our speakers. Lubos na nagpapasalamat ang Hands Inclusion sa aming speakers. Naging matagumpay ang ating webinar dahil sa inyong pakiisa. Binigyan niyo kaming lahat ng pagkakataon na matuto at suporta ng ating advokasya. Kaya naman, sila ay ating gagawaran ng Certificate of Appreciation bilang tagapagsalita sa ating webinar na Gabay.
This Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Ms. Wilma Dela Cruz-Ligot in grateful acknowledgement for being a steward of inclusivity by imparting valuable knowledge regarding parenting individuals with autism for the Hands-in Inclusion webinar Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, held on the 29th of April 2023, signed by Roylan Gorospe Marlang, Project Manager Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, founder of Hands-in Inclusion Pilipinas.
And now this Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Mrs. Josephine Palomares in grateful acknowledgement for being a steward of inclusivity by imparting valuable knowledge regarding social activities of persons with autism for the Hands-in Inclusion webinar, Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, held on the 29th of April 2023. Signed by Mr. Roylan Gorospe Marlang, Project Manager of Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, and the founder of HNI Philippines.
And now, this Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Ronald Alexander Motoomull in grateful acknowledgement for being a steward of inclusivity by imparting valuable knowledge regarding employment situation of persons with autism for the Hands-in Inclusion webinar, Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, held on the 29th of April 2023, signed by Sir Roylan Gorospe Marlang, Project Manager, Gabay, IncluTalks on Autism Awareness, founder of Hands-in Inclusion Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga speakers.
Yan. Thank you to our speakers. Muli, taos puso kaming nagpapasalamat sa ating speakers at sa Facebook Live viewers. Your support means everything to us. So of course, let's give yourselves a round of applause. Ayun. Now, before we end, tunghayan natin ang ating President and Founder ng Hands-in Inclusion, Mr. Roylan Marlang, para magbigay ng kanyang mensahe.
Hapon muli. Ay, gabi na pala. Okay. So, sa lahat ng mga speakers na nag-confirm, sa lahat ng mga volunteers na nag-confirm na yung araw na to, at sa lahat ng mga nanood, marami pong salamat. Ako po ay natutuwa na napanood ninyo ang another webinar on Autism Awareness, at I hope meron kayong matututunan na learnings, insights, at saka kung ano yung mga gagawin for sa Autism Awareness. Sana maging aral sa ating lahat na ang inclusion ay pinapalaganap din at napapansin din ng lipunan. So muli maraming salamat sa lahat at magandang gabi sa inyo.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Roylan. Indeed po, marami po kaming natutunan. Kahit po ako, personally, marami po akong natutunan sa webinar na ito. And for sure, our viewers have learned a lot from this. This is a start po sa panonood pa lang ng webinar na to. This is a start on learning more about autism. This is a start in raising awareness. And iniimbitahan po namin lahat ng ating viewers sa Facebook Live na i-like, share, at subaybayan ang social media pages ng Hands-In Inclusion. We have so much in store for you po this year. So, abangan nyo lang.
We would also like to thank the Philippine Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf sa pag-provide ng mga sign language interpreters para sa ating webinar. Thank you rin sa Volunteer Philippines, silang nag-provide ng ating mga volunteers.
Thank you so much po sa lahat ng bumubuo at ang tumulong po sa ating webinar for today. As all good things must come to an end, dito na po nagtatapos ang ating webinar. Ako po si Alisa.
At ako naman si Christian, from the speakers and from everyone here in this webinar. Maraming salamat at pagpalain na tayo ng may kapal. Pilipinas, God first. Paalam!
Paalam!
Congratulations!
Thank you so much po!
Thank you so much, guys.